Good afternoon. My name is Eric Mozan. I'm currently a freshman here at Hostos Community College. I would first like to start off by saying everyone is entitled to their own opinion. But with my past experience in life so far, I would like to share some of the things that I went through and I overcame. There's a familiar saying, learn from your mistakes. But I prefer to say learn from your mistakes as well as others, because this way you can avoid them yourself. I know this because growing up, I used to always hear from adults, don't do this or don't do that, and avoid this and avoid that. And I'm sure you recall the same thing. Maybe if it was from a parent, a guardian, maybe even a random stranger giving you advice. So when I used to hear these words, I used to think to myself, you don't know what you're talking about. Those were your mistakes. I wasn't entirely wrong because they were their mistakes, but they were mistakes that I could have learned from. Instead of listening to understand, I had a bad habit of listening to reply. Now it's a crucial mistake. Something I figured out after I grew up. But it's normal. Certain things you just gotta learn on your own. Like a hot stove. You see a fire, it might look interesting to you, or maybe even pretty. But you won't know it's hot until you get burned. Something I figured out as I grew up. Now that I'm older and I work with children, ages 6 to 13 and some even teens, I try to teach to them what I know. And as I do so, I reminisce me being now the same adult and them being me, hitting me, the adult, with the same lines I used to say. Oh, those were your mistakes. You don't know what you're talking about. Watching life repeat itself. Hopefully my message to you as young adults today, you will understand the concepts that I know now. Maybe you didn't have that person giving you advice, but you do have one now. Listen to understand, not to reply. There's also another saying, never forget where you came from. My interpretation of this line is saying that in order to know where you're headed, you have to know where you've been. I come from a place where every tenement had about 8 people in the hallway by 6 in the morning. Old ladies walking by, waving their hands, trying to avoid smoke and stuff. Growing up there, I had a lot of fights which made me tough. Didn't really travel, so I didn't get to see much, so that's all I knew. Gangs, drugs, violence, and money. Still there, I graduated advanced high school diploma, and I decided to finish my education now. Yeah, sometimes when I sit in class, I think I could have did this 2 years ago. I could have been in this same class 2 years ago. But I don't try to focus on the negative, I focus on the positive. The fact that I'm here now. I don't regret it though, because playing the streets and playing school, I became book and street smart. So it opened my eyes to see it all. Michael Jackson said, if you want to make the world a better place, you have to look in the mirror and make that change. Learn from your mistakes.